This episode is all about getting the old Willys ready for inspection, so stick around and we'll go through the list together. Alright, so we're going to go through a checklist and make sure we've got everything we need for this thing to pass inspection. First and foremost is obviously the windshield that we are still waiting for. It's been over 2 weeks and I haven't received any shipping information, so I think it's almost time for a phone call. So other than the windshield, I'm thinking that just from doing this in another state, all the lights have to be working, which they are, except for that one headlight on this side that's really dim. I think it might be just a bad ground connection. We'll have to check that out. I think we're going to need to put a wiper in this thing. It's a little hard to put the wiper in and adjust it right until we get the windshield in, obviously, so I've kind of been waiting on that. You can probably get the motor up into place, get the hole drilled, and just kind of get it set in there so we can make the final adjustment on it. Tires are all good. Brakes are good. I've been working on e-brake, the old e-brake. Let me show you what we got. It was mounted here before, and obviously with our fuse block in the way, we can't put it there anymore, so we're going to have to try to move it somewhere where it's not going to be in the way of anything. I'm kind of thinking somewhere in this vicinity, basically where I got the screw, because the handle's going to hang down a little bit. Here's the mechanism, and I've got the cable all hooked up already, so all we have to do is get this thing mounted. I went and reworked our shift linkage so that park is in the park position. Goes in the wiper, the e-brake, and the windows, of course. I think she's good to go for inspection. I did pull out the other windows, the two that were not broken, in our side panels, and I did the same kind of rubber repair to them as we did to these ones. Two back halves of these were broken, so we're going to have to do something about that. I'm thinking for what I need, we're just going to cut pieces of plexiglass and put them in there, because they're supposed to slide. We're going to have to figure some kind of channel, you know, maybe like an aluminum channel or something that we can have that thing slide in. I don't know. I don't really know how it's supposed to look or supposed to go together. Half the stuff was missing when I got it, so I'm not really sure how it's supposed to go together, but I have an idea of how we're going to put it together. So I think today the e-brake is probably the most important, and the wiper motor. So we'll dig that stuff out and see what we can do with that. Also in this episode, we have our new Truck Talk 1406 Edelbrock comparison Chinese carburetor. And this is what you get. The gaskets, filter, second filter, gas line, and the carburetor itself. This was $150. The Edelbrock 1406 is $400. So I would have gladly spent the $400 on the Edelbrock if I had not had an epic failure with this $80 Edelbrock fuel pump that right out of the box did not work. So I was a little skeptical. So I figured it this way: for $150, if this doesn't work out of the box, I'm not going to feel quite as bad as if I spent $400 and it didn't work out of the box. That's what I'm trying to tell you, is that they're both made in China, manufactured in China. It may say an American product, yes, but manufactured in China in the fine print. So they're both manufactured in China, the Edelbrock and the Chinese carburetor. So, you know, call me crazy, but if they're both made in the same place, I'm going to go for the cheaper one because the quality is going to be the same. That's all I really have to say about that. Also, we got our speakers, Pioneers. We're going to be putting in to our side panels. Basically trying to button this thing up this week so she can get inspected and get her plate on her so I can get driving down the road in this thing, man. Alright, so let's get started with the Z-brake. We got this bar here that controls our vent, and I'm thinking we could mount this. I'm kind of hoping we can mount this right on that bar. We'll have to drill a hole for our cable to go through and have to drill a couple holes in the top of this so we can bolt it. It's going to be the best place to mount it because of the configuration we have going now. So let me get the holes drilled, and we'll go ahead and get this thing mounted, and I'll show you how we're going to join the two cables together. So here's the other end of the cable that comes off the brakes. I had actually cut it to get it out of the truck. We have this block here. It's like a cinch block. These are Allen heads. We put one cable on one side, one on the other side, and cinch them both down. I think I'll be strong enough to do what we need it to do. So the E-brake is in. I got this piece of angle out of my scrap bin. Bolted it here into this cross member, and then to the dash. Got it through a hole in the firewall. Got our cables cut to length, left them long so we can adjust if we need to. Got them on our cinch block. That'll work for what we need. Alright, so we're out here on a brand new day. Yesterday we got our emergency brake mechanism and cable installed, and it actually does work, even though it looks like it doesn't. It does. So I've shown you a lot of ways that stuff is not supposed to be done, but will work for you. We also got our window rubber hack finished up yesterday with the side windows. Some of you might say, well, why don't you just do it right and buy the proper rubbers and buy the proper windows? And well, I have a certain budget that I work with, knowing that I'm not going to keep these vehicles. They're going to be flip vehicles, and my goal mainly is to get these things so they look halfway decent, patch as much rust as I can, throw a quick paint job on it, get it to where it passes inspection, basically get it to a point where someone can enjoy it. Probably should be somebody who still likes to tinker, because they are the person that's going to go ahead and put the proper window rubbers in, put the proper windows in. Somebody that can spend the time on doing proper body work. You just take these vehicles from rotting in a field or heading to the crusher and try to give them a new lease on life. The reason I do some of the things I do, you know, trying to find cheap packs for this and that, and you know, basically to get things to work again. This is another example of cost cutting right here. This the wipers, as we're going to tackle the wipers today. You can buy a replacement electric wiper conversion kit for these things. The wiper motor is 220 some bucks. The mechanisms and the cables that go inside the dash, it's another $100 and some. So all said and done, you're looking at about 400 bucks to put the proper wipers in this thing. So that's not really budget friendly, if you know what I mean. That's why I turned to these things. I got this entire kit, you know, off the old Amazon for like 75 bucks. Comes with both motors, the wipers. These are basically more a suggestion that you have wipers as opposed to something that actually will work properly, in my experiences anyway. This is just to get this thing on the road, and the next owner can tinker with it and put the proper wiper motor in there and spend the money to get this thing as close to perfect as they want it to be. I don't know, or just leave it the way it is. Just drive it in the summer, drive it on nice days to car shows, or a Sunday drive, fair weather Sunday drive. I don't know. That's basically what this is all about. It's not about making it perfect. It's about saving her from the crusher and moving it on to somebody that can enjoy it. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll just do one wiper on the driver's side so that can easily be taken out and patched if somebody wants to put the real wiper system in. So that's where I'm leaning. I'm just going to put the one wiper in on the driver's side window, if we ever get the windshield, that is. Getting kind of a little perturbed with the situation, but we are at the mercy of the people shipping it. We probably could configure a way to put it under the dash. It would have to be mounted way back to go underneath the dash. If somebody did want to put the proper system in, the one hole is already there. I'm just going to do the one driver's side. If I can fit it under the dash, we'll do that. If not, it'll have to go in the visor position. I'm not crazy about that, but there's really not much I can do. We got to have a wiper. I think I'm going to shut up now and let's see if we can get something done. Alright, so we got the switch out of the truck and I want to bench test it and make sure it's working properly. A hot line coming in and we got it grounded. It would be grounded to the dash, so we're just representing that. We got power coming in, and this is a 3-position switch, so this is wash 1, 2, and 3. So what we want to do is light up number 1. There we go. And then 2 would be here, I think. Should be, yep. So the switch is working. The next thing we got to do is hook it up to the motor here. 12 volts in, ground, and I'm assuming this one's supposed to represent the switch. I don't know. But we'll go ahead and hook it up that way and see what we got. Technically speaking, when we turn this switch on, this motor should start. But I don't know because it doesn't come with any instructions, and there was nothing online to explain what's happening here. So let's see what we got. We got power going into it, and we have nothing going. Nothing's happening. If we can't get the second one to work, then we'll try some different wiring configurations, I think. So the second motor in that configuration was a no-go as well. This time I took the 12 volts coming out of the switch into the 12 volts on the motor, and we'll give that a try. Nothing. This thing might need to go through a relay, so let me see if I can do that. We got one of these things apart, and there's absolutely no information at all about what's going on here. So trying to determine what relay we should use, I don't know. Neither one of these are working. Maybe it's the way I got it wired. Maybe it needs a relay, but there was no information, no instructions, and I haven't been able to find any information at all online about these things. So that's what you're looking at. I'll be scratching my head on this thing for a while, so we might as well move on. So we went and took the panels off. Got our speakers installed. Pretty simple. Found out exactly where I wanted to put them, drilled a hole, put the wires on, put the panels back on. Pretty simple. So we have a sound system now. That's awesome. I did actually write down the everything we needed that I'm aware of for inspection. The lights, we already know about the headlight, right? The horn does not work. The brakes we've done. Tires we've done. The running gear is good as far as I know. tie rod ends and everything look pretty decent. Wiper we're working on now. Exhaust is done, and the windows we haven't come in yet. So finished the e-brake. Gear shift linkage is done. We're working on the windows. The carb, we've got our truck top carburetor we got to stick on there yet. We're still working on door handles. Flywheel cover is on. Brake pedal is done. And we still have to do the accelerator pedal. So, glove box insert, that's not really important. And the headlight, we got to do that. I think what I want to do now is maybe install our truck top carburetor. Our 1406 equivalent to Edelbrock truck top carburetor. Alright, so we got the Holly off. We got the new truck top carburetor on. Let me show you all this. I don't even have to get in the Jeep. Look at that, huh? Right out of the box. I haven't adjusted anything yet. Not bad. For once I'm impressed. Well, to say the least, I'm shocked that we got that Chinese Edelbrock to fire right up right out of the box. I didn't adjust a thing on it. That's kind of surprising to me. So we'll call that another little win, I guess, and tomorrow we will get back at trying to get this thing inspection ready. Alright, so I've been messing with this stupid wiper for quite a while. Look at this now. I was going to make a liar out of me. Hang on a second. Check this out. Huh? Ask me what I did. Nothing really. I took the thing all apart, trying to figure it out. The S terminal is the negative post. Apparently, the middle post that's marked negative doesn't do anything, so I don't know. So it's just a matter of swapping the wire over. That was a waste of like 2 hours. Anyway, we got the wipers working, so the next step is to get this thing mounted in the truck. What we're going to have to do, because the stem is so long, is this mounting point. We're probably going to have to put a spacer in there, because we want just the end of this to stick out to put the wiper on. But without having the windshield in there, you know, I can't really tell how far through it should go or anything like that. So I'm thinking just maybe drilling the hole for now. We can go ahead and wire it, and when we get the windshield, we can stick it up in there and get the correct size spacer for it, I guess. You know, let's stick the wipers in there, get the switch mounted back in the truck, and wire it up. I've been jumping back and forth between working on this wiper and trying to get these windows, trying to figure something out for that. I picked up this, what you call it, a U channel, aluminum trim channel they call it. I think the slot in there is perfect to fit a piece of plexiglass. I got it cut to fit like a track in here. On this side, this would be the track where the window slides. So we'll have to fill in this other side with something. I'm not really sure. We'll get one on the top and get one on the bottom. And we'll cut our plexiglass to fit in there, and we'll have sliding window, sort of, kind of. It should work for us. I got a piece of this old windshield rubber that I bought for the 58 Apache. So I thought that I'd be able to put that curved window in myself. Well, that didn't work out very well. I ended up cutting the windshield rubber too short, so I did the smart thing and took it to an auto glass place and had them put the windshield in for me. But I never threw the rubber away. I figured that someday I might be able to use it. Well, you know what? If you take and cut one side of this rubber off and make a channel for it, it fits almost perfectly in here. Fills that channel in perfect. I'm not gonna say perfect, but it fits pretty good for what it is, or for what we need. So basically, I'll get some rubber adhesive, and we'll adhere this thing down, and we're gonna call that good. So there's another cheap fix just by using the junk that I have. Is it ideal? Probably not, but it'll work, so we're gonna run with that. Alright, so we're out here once again on the old 55. So these wiper motors will not fit underneath this dash. They're just too big and bulky. So the cavity that you see right there, that's all the room you have to work with. I've got the area over the visors down. I'm in the process of running a wire up to where our wiper is going to be, and then down underneath the dash to hook up to our switch. The only problem I'm having right now is trying to figure out where to put the wiper so it lands up like in the middle of the window, sort of. So we have got our window rubber, and no, we have not got the window yet, but I did get the window rubbers like 2 weeks ago. Got it out here in the sun so to heat up, to make it a little more pliable, so we can maybe fit it in there and get an idea of where this window is going to land, so we can get our wiper stem in the right place. Put it together, take it apart. Put it together, take it apart. It seems like the theme here lately. So, but that's my own fault for being stupid. We will also be multitasking on a few other things as we continue on here today. Some of the stuff's not really that important, but you know, I want to do it anyway. I've got these that I've ordered a while back just to kind of dress up our tires a little bit. Some people hate them. I kind of think they're cool. The only problem with installing these things is you have to break the bead on the tire. Put these inside the bead and reinflate the tire. I do not have a tire machine, so this could be an issue. I'm going to try to do it. If I can't get them reinflated myself, we'll just take them down to a tire shop and have them reinflated. I think they may look kind of cool. Give a little added flair, if you will. But unfortunately, I think we were not going to be able to install windshield in this video again. We're into our third week. I did call, and I was informed that it takes 2 to 4 weeks to get 3 pieces of flat glass. I mean, I don't understand that, but that's what they say. We've had this window rubber out in the sun for about an hour or so, so I'm going to try to see if I can get it in here so we can get our center mark and figure out exactly where that wiper stem needs to be in the center of our window. This may take a while. I'll be back when I'm done. Well, let me tell you what, that was one of the most aggravating things I've ever done in my life, put this window rubber in. Wow. It's not perfect, but I believe it'll stretch even more when you get the window panes in there, and yeah, but at least it gives us an idea about where that stem needs to be. Just an FYI, if you're going to do this, just make sure the ridge that you're putting this rubber around doesn't have any burrs on it, because I'll tell you what, you're going to have a hard time getting that rubber to seat on there if there are. So in retrospect, I should have probably went around there with a file and made sure the edge was pretty smooth, because it would have went on a lot easier. But it's on there now, so let's go ahead and see if we can't mark out for our hole. Alright, right where that black dot is, that's about where the stem is going to come through. It's pretty close to the center. It's not exactly center, but there's the stanchion that's in there. This is in our way. This is actually where we're going to mount the motor to. We put the same type of motor in the 46 Chevy truck up over the visor just like that. And we did get caught in a little bit of a rainstorm. And I'll tell you, these motors, they're really not powerful enough to push away water all that effectively. So when I said before, they're merely a suggestion that you have wipers. If it's on there and it goes back and forth for inspection, I think that's all they really look for. I don't think anybody that's going to drive this thing around is going to drive it as a daily driver. I wouldn't think so, but you never know. All the information that I'm giving you about putting the regular wipers in, putting the regular windows in, all this stuff is going to get passed on to the next owner, so they're well aware of what should be done, could be done, but doesn't have to be done. If you're just going to use this thing to take to a car show and, you know, out for ice cream or a Sunday drive, I think you'll be fine with it the way it is. So I think we're going to wait till we get the glass to drill that out. I just mainly wanted to get the wire run, get the positioning of it, and as soon as that glass gets here, we'll drill that in. I think that'll do it for today. Tomorrow, the only thing left on the inspection list is the lights and the horn, and all we really have to do is figure out what's going on with that one headlight. And the horn, I'm sure it's just a ground thing, but it's not making the right connection inside the button. Should be a pretty easy fix. Other than that, we'll be back at it again tomorrow. So alright, we are back again. And being that we can't put the windshield in this video, we got one last thing we really need to do, I want to do, is get a bumper on the front of this thing. We got the S10 bumper that we took off, and we're going to try to slice this thing and make it fit on the front of this Willys. First thing we got to do is get these wings cut off here on both sides, so we can fit it up on there flat. It would have just had like a regular strap type bumper that went on here. Chrome bumper for this thing is like $500. You can buy the regular strap steel bumper for like $200, I think it is. But we got this one, and we've got a cutting wheel and we've got a grinder, so I think we ought to just slice this thing up, see if we can't make it fit on the front of this Willys. And once we get the bumper mounted, we'll build a little valance plate to go over the top and kind of finish this thing off. Paint it green to match the rest of the Jeep, and we'll call that good. Well, as you can see, this thing is pretty beat up. She's had a hard life. Few wings and dings in it. You gotta cut that stuff off. So, yeah. We got a little bit of work to do on this thing, but I think it'll work for what we need. Alright, well, probably should straighten those tires out so I get a better idea of what we're looking at here. Looks a little leveler. I guess something like that. I think we're going to go ahead and cut this right along this line. Cut that off, all that excess. And I think it'll look pretty good once we bang the dents out of it. It might not look too bad. So let me get the hammer out and see if I can't straighten this thing out a little bit more. Well, I don't think that looks too bad. I got a lot of the dents out. Right there at the bottom, underneath there, it needs to be all straightened out, but I was able to get a lot of the dents out. So I think once we grind it all down, do a little body work on it, I think we're going to be good. Next we got to figure out how we're going to mount this. So we obviously have our mounting points, but we got to build some kind of brackets to mount it to the frame, and then we can go ahead and make a cardboard template of our front valance that we want to put on, and we'll go ahead and do that. Well, I will tell you what, if this thing wasn't as beat up as it is, I would buff that thing out and clear coat it. But she's going to need a lot of filler. Some of the dents I just can't get out. Like this one here that's right on the crease, it just won't pound out of there. This is still a little low here. I got the one in the nose out, but you can feel that there's still a divot there, here and down there. But yeah, I think she would polish up pretty good if it was dent free. I guess the next step's going to be to figure out how we're going to mount this thing. I've got a bunch of parts that came off the S10. Some of them might be the bumper brackets, I don't know, but we'll dig through it. Alright, there she is. She's bolted on. I think it looks pretty good. Still have some straightening out to do on the bottom there, but overall, I don't think it looks too bad. We can go ahead and get some cardboard. We'll make a cardboard template for our valance plate there, and see what kind of scraps we got we can use to make one. I do have the old tailgate from the S10 out back that we can cut into if we need to, for sheet metal for that. So all in all, I think I'm going to call that another good win. Alright, this is what I come up with as far as a pattern for the valance. We're going to have to bend it here and here with a relief cut. Bend it slightly in the center so we can fit it up in there. I'm not quite sure about this part of it. I'd like to bend this in the center so it would come up and meet that, and then bend it so it went underneath the bumper. But I'm not really sure how this is going to translate into metal, and this part will be underneath the bumper once it's all painted green. Maybe we can even get fancy and put a couple bead rolls in there or something, I don't know. But I'm going to call that good. I'll see what kind of scrap metal we got, and tomorrow we'll get to fabricating that. And we'll definitely have to get some tiger hair to put on this bumper, because it don't look bad, I'm sure, on camera, but It's got some pretty good whip-de-doos in it. They got to get filled. I can't. I beat on it as much as I could, but that's pretty heavy gauge metal to try to work the dents out of. So we're just going to smooth them out with a little tiger hair and paint her up nice and purty. And there you go. I think it'll look alright. Alright, so we do have 2 pieces of tin that we cut off of our roll pan in the back. So I think that'll be pretty good for what we need. We'll have to do this in 2 pieces. Weld them together. No big deal. So let me get this laid out and get it cut out, and we'll start fabricating our valance pan, I think it's called. So we got the 2 pieces of metal cut out. We're going to join them right there. And we still have some trimming to do on the sides. We're going to have to add a strip of metal on that V right there. So, which won't be too bad. That's probably about as close as I'm going to be able to get it. And we'll go ahead and weld it all together and pull the bumper off and get this valance installed, and then put the bumper back on over the top of it. Alright, we got our valance piece made. We got our bumper repaired. Knocked all the dents out of it. Got a coat of primer on everything. We got it all put back on the Jeep. It doesn't look too bad. There's a few areas that I'm not real happy with. This here, this piece right there, got cut a little too short. So we'll probably have to add some metal to that. It don't look too bad. This spot over on this side is raised slightly. There really wasn't much you could do with that because the steering box is right there. This one sits nice and flat. It's not bad though. I mean, I could always raise that one side up to kind of balance it out a little bit. That's probably what I will do actually. But I'm gonna call that good, man. I think once we get it painted and bolted on for good, I think it'll be alright, man. I think the old Willys is almost ready to make her debut, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. Certainly have come a long way in what, 27 or 28 weeks. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. If you know anybody that might be interested in checking out the video series on this old Willys build, share the video with them. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and until next time, man, take it easy.